Oh my goodness, I was muted. Yikes! Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Well, that was good practice at least. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to be playing on chess.com. I'm going to be doing my best in faster time controls, even though I've been playing Rapid lately. And I've been winning a lot more games in Rapid, usually 30-minute games. Now, I prefer 60 minutes or longer. However, you kind of want to stick to the time controls that are kind of like in the defaults on chess websites, because most people are going to be using the queue feature, and it's usually going to be queuing people up with people are just going to click on the defaults, especially mobile users. There is something to be said about somebody who is more eager to play custom time controls are probably a higher quality match. However, I don't really think it matters. I think it's better just to play the defaults. 30 minutes is probably the longest you will find like a match. And either way, like you queue up even for like a 60-minute game. I think a lot of the times when you queue up for games that are longer time controls on chess websites, unfortunately, especially at my low of a rating, because I am really not very good at chess, when you get people who are lower rated like me, you don't get people who are as serious as me. So I have a really high level of seriousness. I may not be very good, like I may not be very strong in chess. I think I am pretty strong, you know, for my rating at the very least. But then again, you could say like, oh, my rating is an accurate depiction of my level. I try not to think about it. I try to just say, I'm going to play the best chess I can. I'm going to have the highest discipline I can. I'm going to queue up for games, and I'm going to play the games. I'm going to analyze the games. I'm going to be doing puzzles. I'm going to be reading chess books. I have a lot of Jeremy Silman books. You know, if you don't know who he is, he passed away a few years ago. He is probably considered to be one of the, or if not one of the best, then if not the best, then one of the best chess book authors of all time. Just like extremely, just very good at writing the chess book literature, which is a very different skill than playing chess. He's written several articles on chess.com and stuff throughout the years too. One of them was an interesting way to study games that is more relevant probably to much stronger chess players like international masters and grandmasters. But he was talking about how if you wanted to be studying to become a grandmaster, something besides your standard study, which you can't replace, obviously, studying is going to be the number one, and playing games and analyzing games. Like, the biggest thing you can do as a beginner is just play more games, analyze more games, preferably slower games, like 15 minutes or slower. Playing more games, analyzing more games, doing tactics, just like, you know, volume, and you know, quality with volume, but you know, but generally volume. You want to get patterns. Hey, what's up, Green? Hey, it's up, AFK Gringo. How you doing, fellow 6'7", fellow Gooner? Oh, I thought you said fellow Sooner, and I read it as Gooner. I was correct. That is what you meant. Oh, I see you over there, Gooners in chat. Gooners, where are you? Anyway, hired goons, hired goons. Oh, hired goons. Simpsons. Anyway, one of the things Jeremy Silman was talking about in one of his articles, I don't know if I can find it like in a couple of seconds here, but there was an article that stood out to me where there was a training method that if you are already training, you're like international master or higher, which is not particularly relevant to me. But not yet. But he was talking about if you want to push beyond international master, which unfortunately he never did. He made a pivot in his career. He wanted to focus more on writing chess books than on becoming a grandmaster, which is fine. And I don't think it makes him weak. I think it makes him very strong because he knew what he wanted. He pursued it. But one of the things that he was doing when he was trying to become a grandmaster, and what a lot of people who do grandmasters do differently, is on top of their chess study, you will not be able to rise above the ceiling if all you're doing is your standard studying and playing many games. Maybe you'll get there. Obviously, if you play enough games, you're going to get there, obviously. But another thing that you can do that will completely change your board vision is just going through the database of master and grandmaster games, preferably like IM and above. But I don't know, he was even talking about how just even master level games included in that database. Going through the database with a real board, moving the pieces at lightning speed, just staring at the board. You're not trying to learn tactics. You're not trying to study. That's the thing that like you are studying separately from that. But this is a separate activity. And I think like organizing your study activities with laser focus and knowing what your goal is, I think are hugely important, because what he was talking about with this is that you're not trying to study anything. You're trying to just observe. You're focused on watching the games unfold, and you're doing like 500 a day. And he's saying 500 a day if you're trying to become IM to GM. That's a very different world than someone like me who is just trying to get to 1800 or above. If you are playing over the board, first of all, none of this really matters if you're not playing many games, if you're not doing tactics puzzles every day, like if you're not analyzing your games. Like you need to be playing slow games. Obviously online I have to settle for like 30 minutes probably as the slowest, maybe 60 minutes. If I can organize scheduling with some people, then maybe I could do 45-45 or 90-30 or 125. But unfortunately, it's harder to schedule things with people. Why are you gay? How are you gay? Sam, why are you gay? That's what I want to know. The people want to know, Sam. Sam, why are you gay? How are you gay? Anyway, before chat derailed this amazing conversation about chess, this game that we love, on the day of my daughter's wedding, he had a huge point that a lot of people who are NM or IM will scoff at. Because I've told this to people who are like expert level. You know, you talk to like lower rated chess players, even though they're higher rated than me. If you kind of notice a difference in mindset when you talk to people who are like expert or maybe national master level, they have these notions that if you do something like that you're not really studying. But then you listen to like IMs and GMs and they're like, yeah, just play a ton of games and analyze a ton of games. Because they're operating on a volume that is significantly higher than these people. And yeah, I'm saying quality is good, but at a point, quality is not going to make up for a lack of volume. Because in the end of the day, chess is a pattern recognition. And if you're not getting like hundreds of games in your eyeballs every day, like just looking at databases, this is where databases are really good. Besides doing like, you know, deliberate, like, oh, I want to look at as many games in this deliberate position and I want to do deep study. That's different. That's a different activity. What I'm talking about is you load a database, maybe you want to improve at a specific opening, right? And you're like 2300 rating or something. And you do something like, okay, well, I'm going to filter by these first couple of moves. And I want to actually, instead of like doing deep study, which like, you know, obviously like a lot of people 2300 and above, they will not improve unless they do deep opening study. Because like doing just straight up like playing games and analyzing games and doing tactics, that'll only get me up to like maybe 2100 rating. Like I know the path because I've seen people go through it. And I also noticed significant improvement when I threw away all the advice that people online will give you for as a beginner, besides the ones that actually matter, because it's so hard to filter, especially when you're not extremely high rated already. It's so hard to filter because people will bombard you with tips and advice. But the things that I noticed, and I think in the end of the day, you have to find what works for you. and I had to go through tons of trials and error. I had to play like, I think like I played at least 15,000 games. Maybe less than that, maybe like 13,000. But I've played a lot of games, okay? And I've had to trial and error. I tried doing what all the people on YouTube and chess books try to tell you to do. I never really improved doing those things, and I got discouraged. That's actually my biggest issue, is that I would get discouraged and then not keep going. That was like the biggest thing. But when I noticed the most significant improvement was the absolute most basic advice that is so hard to actually do, because it's so basic. It's literally just play slower games, analyze the games, and do a few puzzles every day and just keep doing it. And like, you need to play focused. Obviously, a lot of people have an issue where they have like TV in the background, or they, obviously while I'm streaming and I'm talking to you guys, like, what's your ELO? It's embarrassingly low online. And it's like, I'm still provisional over the board. I'm going to be moving into a new environment soon, and I'm going to be getting some additional resources, and people are going to be like being able to help me get out into the community more too. One of those things is getting myself to chess tournaments, and at the very least, getting myself to chess clubs. That is going to be a huge leap for me. Want to play a match? Yeah, send me a challenge. rebeccaloran on chess.com. But what I'm trying to say is that this piece of advice, when I would bring it to people who are lower than 2,000 rating, they would scoff at it. They would say that's not going to work. And I'm like, well, I learned this from a international master, Jeremy Silman, who is probably the most successful chess author in history, in modern history at the very least, probably in all of history, the most successful chess author out there, in my opinion. Jeremy Silman, amazing chess author. His style of writing is extremely he's good at illustrating the points. And when I'm listening to people who are much higher rated, and then compare the advice to people who are much lower rated, like people who were like, maybe they got rated 2,000 like 40 years ago, and they have not raised in rating since then. I'm not saying that they're like terrible people, or that they're like, shitty people. I don't like the whole ego thing. I think it's just a matter of fact. Like, if somebody is extremely not as deliberate with their chess improvement compared to somebody who is literally has an active chess career, those are two different people. And when it comes to chess advice, when you notice a huge difference in psychology between somebody who is like 2,000 rated compared to like somebody who's like 2,500 rated. Like, there's a significant difference in psychology, and you don't have to be 2,000 plus rated to see it. You can be someone like me, 1,000 rated, right? You can be someone like me. And I could see the psychological difference and the level of discipline. What people fail to understand is that if you're not studying deliberately every single day, this kind of advice of volume doesn't really apply to you. So a lot of people, they only have like an hour a week to study, and so they're thinking very differently. But I don't care about what people who are hobbyists think. I don't even consider myself a hobbyist. I'm just kind of like pausing my chess career. I'm getting back into it, and I'm going to be in a situation where I'm going to be able to get into some tournaments soon. So there's like a significant change happening in my life, and I think it's going to be the best thing that's ever happened to me. Not just for like, my life and for my career, but also for chess. Here, let me. Yeah, I got to open up the chat here, because there's additional moderation tools. I usually pop out the chat here, because I do have like restream chat, but sometimes it's like delayed or it misses some of the chats, so I have to have the YouTube chat open. So yeah, basically, I don't know what like I'm really getting at. Sometimes it might sound like I'm like angry or whatever. Maybe that's just because I'm really passionate. Um, but I feel like he even made a huge caveat that only that kind of intense study where you're like going through a database and moving pieces on a real board as fast as possible, like a minute per game basically. And you're going to be trying to go through 500 games a day. You only do that if you're already in such a disciplined mindset that you're like on your way to higher rating points. Like you're studying like every single day. You're playing tournaments every week. Like you're playing like, like you're studying like tactics every day. You're playing games every day. You're analyzing, and you're also doing those database. Like that only works if you're continuing to do things over time. If you're not really taking chess seriously, you kind of want to get more bang for your buck. So there's two different main types of learners that I've noticed in chess. There's people who are very serious about it, and they require a very different approach because it's going to be more, it's going to be less progress immediately, and it's going to be more progress over time. But if you want to get faster progress with less study, you're going to have to approach it very differently, because you're going to want to maximize for, okay, what can I do if I only have 1 hour per week to study? Like, that's a very different, that's like a very different mindset, a completely different mindset. I got some yerba mate. Yeah, I've been experimenting. I like different caffeine sources. I like switching it up. Like I had a cup of green tea this morning, and then I usually put a small, like, I guess a half cup worth of caffeine worth of guarana into my protein shake. And then I had some yerba mate. Sometimes I have like different caffeine sources besides coffee. Does that mean they play with 2 queens? Just joking? Well, I mean, it's okay. I got I don't need to get into it. I've talked about it plenty much on my channel, so it's just one of those things. TLDR, I'm post-op, so I guess I play with 2 queens. Oh wait, what? What does that even mean? I'm trying to steer my content away from responding to certain types of comments. So I do see your guys' comments, but there are certain comments I'm going to stop replying to as much, because I'm trying to keep my content focused on a different trajectory. I'm trying to move my life forward. I'm trying to move like my content to a different place. So I apologize if I'm not as interactive with some of you guys, but there's gonna, hey, what's up, David? How you doing? I'm kind of trying to move to a new chapter in my life, so we're going to be focusing my content. I'm still exploring what my content really is, especially on YouTube. Like, I know where content elsewhere is. That's pretty straightforward. But when it comes to like my YouTube channel, my whole I have never been able to truly explore what my content is. And I'm about to be moving into a new living situation that is going to change everything. And so I'm kind of excited, but I'm also a little scared. There's going to be a transition time. I'm not able to get to 1500. Well, you're on the same path as me. I'm just getting back into my study, but I know what you need to do. You need to stop watching YouTube videos about how to improve. You need to just play like 15-minute games minimum. Nothing faster than that. And you need to play off stream. You need to play like not with your TV on. You need to play without YouTube on. Maybe music is fine, depending on how concentrated you can be with music on. You know that better than me. But you have to be honest with yourself. Like, only play when you're focused. Like, treat it like a workout, right? Like, treat it like going to the gym or something. You don't go to the gym when you're like eating like junk food and like like you're I mean, maybe, if you're just getting started, you might work out while you're watching TV or something. But basically, you want to play slower games and you want to analyze the games. The great tool for this is, I know that it's like sounds like I'm pushing the diamond membership on chess.com, but it is worth it. Trust me. There are a lot of like video contents and stuff like that, but more than that, the biggest reason is because you get like unlimited custom puzzles, which is really good. Setting lower rated puzzles is really important. And you get unlimited game review. So play like I would say 10-minute games is good if you're not used to playing slower games. Like, if you're not used to playing slower games, I would highly recommend just starting with 10 minutes because it's like a good trade-off. You're playing not as fast as 5 minutes, but you're also not playing as slow as like 15 minutes or slower. But if you want to get like started with just making improvements, you need to get into a pattern, and you can always graduate later to different, things. But you want to start by playing a pattern of like just playing a couple of games per day that are slow. And after the games, doing a game review. And that's it. Only play when you're focused, play slower games, and analyze the games right after. And if that's all you do, just do it every day, like 2 games a day. And you're gonna get eventual improvement. Now, I obviously I'm playing faster games, or I play casual, like unrated games here on stream, but that's because I'm separating things in my head. I'm not considering this to be training. This is more social training, if anything. Like, I'm interacting with my chat. I'm on my stream. This is not part of my chess training. This is part of my social training. It's part of my content training. This is a very different thing that I'm doing. I can play faster games without caring about my progress. But when I'm off stream and I'm setting aside deliberate practice, where I'm playing slower games, I like playing 30-minute games is probably really good for you. Just play slower games, analyze the games, and do custom puzzles, but don't do higher rated puzzles. Do like puzzles that are about like 100 below and 100 above your rating. So like set the custom puzzle range to like maybe like 1,000 to like 1,600, or actually do even less. Do like 600 to like 1,100, and just do a bunch of easy puzzles in like a very narrow like tactic. Like, just do forks, just do pins. Like, just narrow each tactic down and drill it into your head, because I think a lot of people try to treat it like it's not like a workout. Like, treat it like you don't do a whole bunch of different workouts at once. You alternate between doing bicep curls, and then you do squats, and then you might do like, you do like bench presses or whatever. You don't do everything at once. You split them apart and you isolate different muscle groups, right? Yeah, by the way, this is why, I'm playing unrated, but, please don't give me chess moves in the chat. Yeah, I mean, like, see, this is why I don't want people giving me chess moves in the chat. Like, I could have found that on my own. You have weekend games. I would recommend getting Silman's complete endgame course, and then just quality over quantity with that. He explains how to use the book. Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, I wish I could have found this move on my own, but somebody gave it in the chat, and I can't not play it because this is obviously the best move. Yeah, only warning, if you keep on giving me chess moves in the chat, you will be blocked. Hey, what's up, Praddick? Yeah, please don't tell me which chess moves to play. Like, you know, these are unrated games, so it is a little nicer, but I am trying to, you know, think for myself here. I don't need you guys telling me what to do. We can talk after the game if you like, which we usually do. Yeah, see, there's a problem with that. Yeah, there was a reason why I didn't play Rook G. See, you guys fucked with me. This is why I don't want people giving me moves in chat, even in unrated games. Like, you guys fucked with me. There was a reason why I didn't make that move. I'm like, I didn't even consider that move because I needed to guard against E2. What is wrong with you guys? Here, I'm just gonna resign. I'm not gonna give you any warnings next time. If you guys put moves in the chat, I'm gonna time you out. Like, I try not to look at the chat, especially if it, like, I try not to look at the chat while I'm playing. But it's just like, if you guys are gonna give me moves in the chat, you guys are gonna get timed out. That's like, you know, that's not what we're here for. We're not here for you guys to tell me what to play. Like, I'm trying to play on my own. Yeah, so obviously this well, that's, you know, like, I actually think just taking here is probably fine. Wish I can stay and learn more. Yeah, you know, just longer games. Longer games. Don't play Blitz if you're trying to improve. Obviously, I play Blitz and like slower and faster games if I'm like on stream, trying to have fun. One of the main reasons is because you can't really play it for that specific reason. I can't play slower games on stream. First of all, because my focus is focused on chat and on the camera and stuff like that. But also because people are going to put moves in the chat, and that's cheating. And I can't have that. That's not good. You know, that being said, a lot of people play chess on stream. It's obviously a thing. And I, you know, I try to have I try to have good ethics. Yeah, I think just losing a pawn. Oh, just... You know, just keep in mind that I understand why I have been unable to increase my rating. First of all, you have to play more games. And I haven't been. Like for like 2 years now. Like, I went through a big surgery, so... Hey, what's up, beer on? You gonna have some beer on you? Yeah, so like I got my, you guys got in my head. Okay, this is what happens sometimes. They had beer when they named you? Yeah, probably beer on. You guys got in my head, and I shouldn't have let that happen. But like, you guys were talking about rook g3, queen h6, and I'm like, well, that ignores the problem. There's a reason why I kept my rook on that square. I think literally I probably could have just moved my queen right here. Let's see. Well, maybe just attacking. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, attacking the knight after pawn takes, queen takes, and then yeah, now you can't even start going in for attacks just yet, so maybe the rook. Okay, yeah. Oh! Yeah, go, you know, controlling that e2 square. That's where the game, obviously that's where things went wrong. But even then, I think, apparently, yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, this is kind of why you don't want to be playing on stream if your aim is to improve. I understand that people are going to have issues with my gameplay, but I want you to understand that I've also thought very deeply about my improvement, and I'm very disciplined, and I am very deliberate, and you need to trust that. And if you don't trust that, then you're disrespecting me, because just because I am bad right now, and just because you think that all I'm doing is playing on stream, I want you to understand that I have a plan. And the reason why I'm on stream is because I'm also a content creator. And so I'm trying to build something on top of, you know, chess is not my only focus on content. I'm doing multiple things for content. And so sometimes I bring chess to there. So when I bring chess here, it's going to be a lot more casual. It's going to be blitz, or maybe like 10 minutes, but it's going to be unrated. It's going to be casual. I'm going to be interacting with chat. That is a recipe for disaster if your goal is to improve. But I do play off stream. I play usually in the evenings when I'm like, you know, I get the rest of my energy out at the end of the day by playing some, like, you know, 30-minute or slower games. I mean, at least 15 plus 10. Like 15 plus 10 is a really good. You're doing a great job. Great job. You're too scared to play because they are way too hard for me. Well, the best thing you can do is just start playing, and then you queue up with people who are just as strong as you. So if you think that you're bad, well, the people you're going to be playing are just as bad as you. So it's a game between you and the other player. It's not you're not playing against, you know, the world champion. You're not playing against grandmasters. You're not playing against, you know, any kind of, like, you know, tournament player. When you queue up on a website, especially, you're going to be playing with people who are just as good as you. Or just as bad as you, however you look at it. And it's a game between you and your opponent. And so your goal is not to outplay Magnus Carlsen or, you know, like Bobby Fischer. Okay, your goal is to outplay that opponent that game. And so your training should involve, you know, knowing how the pieces move, know some basic fundamentals, like, you know, what to do in the opening. You know, just basic fundamentals, you know, get your pieces developed, you know, get your bishops active, you know, castle your king to protect your king, and, you know, just understanding some basic ideas, you know, to look out for, like, you know, pins and forks. Just doing some basic puzzles. Hey, what's up, RJ? How you doing? Welcome back. So, you know, some basic ideas. How long have you been playing chess? Embarrassingly long. I learned when I was probably like 8 or 9, and I've been playing. Well, here's my problem, and this is what I've been getting into when I've been talking about, like, artwork for, like, we've been doing drawing lately, and drawing is something that I have been attempting since I was like 4 years old, but I kept on getting discouraged, and I would give up for several years at a time. The same thing happened with chess. Music was a little different because I was in band in school. So at least I had like a little bit of passive, growth. But it still wasn't the same as if I was being deliberate as I became later, like when in college. A lot of people say I look like Cillian Murphy if you take off your specs. I think it might be because of my cheekbones. By the way, I have had facial surgery, but I want to set the record straight. Not that I need to not that I need to justify anything or that there's any better makes me better or whatever. Nothing like that. No ego like that. I have had facial surgery, but I didn't touch my cheekbones. These are natural cheekbones, baby. Okay, so that's the only thing. One of the only things that was like really good about my facial structure. I had a very strong facial structure, but it was highly masculine. So I had to get facial feminization surgery, which some women do have to get, and not just trans women. There are some women with more masculine features that sometimes it's easier just to get a surgery. And you could say that you're weak, or you could just take the moral judgment away from it. It's perfectly fine to do what you need to do. If you're a woman and you feel terrible about your facial structure, and you've put a lot of thought into it, yeah, unfortunately, I lose a bishop there. I don't know what. See, this is why you don't play while you're chatting. See, I needed to save my bishop. I think I actually could have traded right here. This is why you don't want to play while you're chatting with chat. Okay. like this is exactly why. Do you see why you shouldn't be playing while you have the TV on? Why you shouldn't be playing while you're chatting on Twitch? Or on YouTube, or on whatever. This is why. Is because we're chatting about something and it completely distracted my thought process. This is why you want to be playing with complete focus. You want to have, preferably complete silence. Just you and the chessboard. That's all that you should have, because that's all that matters. All the stuff outside of it doesn't matter. Everything else, the only thing, when you want to improve at chess, the only thing that matters is you and the chessboard, because nothing else is gonna the opponent's last move and the current board position are literally the only things that you need to focus on. Like nothing else, because you're not allowed to analyze your you're not allowed to have discussions while you're in a tournament. You're not allowed to look at an analysis board and move pieces around. You're not allowed to use a chess computer. You're not allowed to look at a database. You're only allowed to use your mind and your eyes. Or if you're blind, your mind's eye. Or the tactile feelings, because they do have tactile chess boards that are, for visually impaired people. Because chess is for everybody. Even if you're blind, you can be able to play chess. You don't have to play mental chess. They do have tactile boards, which gives you better vision. Vision in the sense of knowing where the pieces are. There is blindfold chess where you don't have access to that kind of information. But if you're blind, they have tactile chess boards, because it's a different. You're not trying to play pure mental chess. You're trying to actually play chess. And so being able to see the board, visualize the patterns, that requires focus. That requires a lot of focus. So that's why we're just playing casually. That's why we're playing casually. That's why we're playing unrated games. That's what I'm live streaming. I'm here for socializing. I'm having my yerba mate and chatting with you guys. We're socializing. This is social chess. We're just chilling. Some people might be drinking some beer. Maybe you guys got some bourbon. Okay, you got some nice food. Anybody got bratwursts? And some sauerkraut? Anybody got some good food in the chat? Let me know. Because I'm hungry. I obviously can't do that. I'm hungry. I want people to understand this. I know a lot of people might be shaking their head at me whenever they see me online. If they're chess masters. They're like, oh, what is she doing? She's delusional. if she thinks she's going to improve at chess doing that. It's like, well, you're not seeing the whole picture. And I think, like, obviously, I think what's happening lately, if anybody were serious about following my chess journey, all they have to do is follow my chess history, or they could even follow me and like watch me while I'm playing off stream. You know, you can do that on chess.com. You can actually, when you see somebody's online, you can watch their games. And I think, like, when let's focus on just the chess part of my journey. People who are serious about observing my chess progress, they can follow my games on chess.com, or if they don't follow them while I'm playing them, they can see my game history, and they can see my slower games that I'm playing off stream. They can notice that I'm playing a lot more focused. Grape juice and apple juice. Oh, you're in the hospital? I hope. Oh, sorry, I clapped. I didn't read that last part. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Kostubahan. Kostub. I'm so sorry. Hopefully you didn't stub your toe. Did you stub your toe? Is that why you're in the hospital? I hope it's not something too serious, or I hope it's good news. Like, is it like gender confirming surgery? I know what that feels like, because that was me like 2 years ago. I was in the hospital. It's pretty intense. Like, being in the hospital is intense, yo. I'm sorry if I'm making light of your situation, but I hope you feel better, Kostub. Yeah, I don't know why. I do over-explain myself a little bit, because I don't think anybody, I think it's me that's like being like overly analytical about the situation, because I don't think there's anybody that's like, obviously there's gonna be people who are like watching my stream and they're like masters or grandmasters, and they're like, what the hell is she doing? Like, she's just playing Blitz. Like, but if those people were serious about like actually judging my chess play, I'm pretty sure they would look at my game history and they'd be like, oh, let's look at all the rapid games. And it's like, oh, she's gradually improving. Like, she's risen like 200 rating points recently. So it looks like she was just like, you know, like kind of out of shape, and then now she's getting back into action. I don't know, maybe ego is part of it. I think it's hard because you spend a lot of time studying and improving. Ego is hard to it's hard to divorce ego from chess, because it's a huge part of your identity, right? Like, when you play chess, you're putting in like tons of hours, like thousands of hours sometimes, tens of thousands of hours. So like, when you study chess a lot and you have people judging your ability, it can feel personal, even though it's not. Like, most likely it's just somebody looking at your chess games, and they're like, oh, looks like you have like you know, some weaknesses. And that's good information. That's actually like really good objective information. This is somebody who doesn't have emotions attached to your improvement. This is somebody who is possibly, most likely, better at chess than you. This is somebody who is not emotionally involved in your life, which is like the perfect situation. Because this is somebody who can give you valuable information about where you're at. But it's so easy to react emotionally to it, because it's like, well, I put in, oops, what am I doing? Because I put in like thousands of hours, and like, when you make mistakes like this, usually I would get really mad at myself, right? I would get really mad at myself for hanging a rook for no reason. Yeah, I'm just gonna resign. That was terrible. That was absolutely terrible. This is what happens when you socialize while you're playing. This is why you shouldn't be watching Twitch while you're playing. This is why you shouldn't be watching YouTube while you're playing. Why you should not have the TV on. Why you should not be hanging out with your friends or on the bus, you know, paying attention to all your surroundings so that people don't steal your backpack, you know, while you're playing on your phone, and intermittent connections where you might go under a tunnel and completely just time out and piss your opponent off. Yeah, I think I can even just, yeah, that's best. This is why you shouldn't be playing like while you're under the influence of something, with the caveat that those are not situations you should be playing when you were trying to improve. There should be like set time that you set as your there should be a set time that you set for yourself that is deliberate practice, right? And then everything else is just kind of social. Yeah, obviously just taking the bishop there would have been good. But I even screwed up over here. When obviously taking the pawn there is still the best move. There was actually a couple of moves where that was avoided. I had a couple of turns. This was avoided. Do you see how many times both of us ignored this? Both of us ignored this for not. Okay, so for 1, 2, 3, it wasn't until the 4th move that January finally took this. So I had like 4 moves to actually deal with this problem, and because I was yapping away on stream, see, this is why you shouldn't be playing while you're distracted. This is why you shouldn't be playing. I'm like, this is like a case study. I'm like giving you guys valuable information. I'm actually really good at what I do because I'm showing you exactly what not to do. It actually makes me really intelligent. So bad. Yeah, exactly. We're just here to socialize. We're at the pub or the cafe or we're in the park and we're talking about life. We're talking about chess. This is not improvement time. You know, like when you're playing Blitz, that's when you're hanging out. That's socializing for chess players. That's like, even when you're socializing, you're still doing something with chess. And you can learn something. You can learn you can see things that you can't normally see because you're too focused. So like, you can even think about it that way. When you're not focused, you're going to notice things that you would never notice because you're too focused. So it's like, even when you're not focused, you're learning something. That's how chess players operate. And it's why I know, like, I'm going to be so happy when I can get back into chess. When I could start joining a chess club. I want to join the Mechanics Institute, and go to the regular tournaments there, and the lectures, and meet more chess players in the San Francisco Bay Area. Like, I want to move my life towards chess community and chess tournaments and getting my life where I want it to be. Getting out there and being social. I'm a very social creature. And I want to build my modeling career, and I can do that, like you can do multiple things. I can't just, cause there's time in between modeling gigs, right? And basically the only job I have between modeling gigs is stay in shape, which is good for chess. And also playing chess is good for modeling because it helps me focus, and modeling requires extreme focus. So like everything I do feeds into each other. I have a lot of time to focus when I'm doing modeling gigs. So like, you need to focus. You can't just go, you can't just go on autopilot. I know people think that it's easy because you're just, posing for either painters or for photographers. Oh, this is you, RJ. I didn't realize this was you. But, people people who don't know what they're talking about always seem to have the most opinions about what things are. I would know, because look at me talking about chess. But people always have talked in the past. People have told me I should be a model. And I did have, body issues. I had issues with my body. I had a too masculine body for myself to feel comfortable. And there were issues personally and emotionally, and I didn't feel right in my body. So that was part of it. But one of the things people would say is like, oh, it's easy. You just have to get your photo taken. Modeling is so much more complicated than that. People do not understand like how much focus is required for modeling. Disodium 6 hydroxy 2 methoxy 5 methyl 4 sulfophenol azo 2 naphthalene sulfate. What the hell is that? This is rated? Oh shit. Why did you send rated? Red 40? Oh, that's Red 40. Unusable footage. There's going to be a lot of unusable footage, but you know, you have to get a lot of unusable footage before you can get usable footage. That's kind of how it works. Yeah, we all love Red 40. Don't offer a draw? What's wrong with you? We're just getting started. I don't know what I was talking about. How's it going? Yeah, we're playing subs, we're playing non-subs, we're playing everybody. I play everybody. Never feel like you can't send me a challenge. I don't care if you're 100 rated or if you're 20 or if you're 3,000 rated. Like I don't care. I don't care. Send me a challenge. Unrated, please. Just because, you know, please don't send me rated challenges. It's a very murky water because we're playing online, and cheating is something I am very disgusted by, and I do not like anything remotely cheating. So please send me unrated challenges. I know a lot of people stream on chess.com and on Lichess, and they play rated games. You know, I understand if it's faster games, because it, you know, especially since there's such a delay on the stream, it's going to be harder for people to, you know, and I try not to look at chat while I'm playing faster games. But if I'm playing slower games and it's not unrated, like, people are going to tell me moves in the chat, and even though I'm going to, you know, discourage it, and I'm going to ban people for doing that, you know, like, it's still like, you know, that's cheating. I don't need people telling me, you know, the moves, because you don't know if people are using chess engines or, like, you know, so it's like I have a policy, you know, about how I play on my stream. And that's like a big reason why I only accept unrated challenges. I'm sorry I accepted this challenge, RJ, but please do not send me rated challenges if we're playing on stream. If we're playing off stream, that's different. If it's off stream, that's completely different. Because off stream, like I'm not, I'm not paying attention to chat or anything like that. You still hanging out at Jay's? Who the hell is this? I don't know who Jay is. Jay and Silent Bob? Mr. Tasty Shots? Oh no, my queen! Oh, I forgot!
All I get is AM radio.
Oh no!
Okay.
Oh no!
Whatever.
Botez Gambit. Oh shit, you missed it. Yeah, we need to look at this review. Please only unrated games from now on. You look beautiful? Well, thank you, Logan. You're not 3,000? Well, that's okay. You don't need to be 3,000. Give other people a chance to challenge me. In January.
You want the Spanish station? Oh, come on. That's lame.
Yeah, I mean, I usually this is part of this opening, but I think the timing matters. Yeah, there was not. Yeah, I guess giving more scope. Oh, yeah, how did I miss that? How did I miss that? What the heck? Alright, I'll accept your challenge in 1 second. Let's just finish up this analysis really quick. I just like to see at least, you know, just looking at the game, even though I'm not, like... I think, like, this is what I'm thinking is, like... A lot of the times I put a lot of intense study, which is good, but, like, I think volume matters so much more at a lower rating. Just getting the volume. Oh, even if the queen takes... Wait, what? Wait, like, why not just take the queen? Why not just take the queen? Like, why not just take the queen? Oh. Yeah, because... Oh, by the way, this song is badass, so let's get our next game started. Oh, yeah, I forgot what I was gonna do before I started the stream. I needed to move the music, like, playlist source. I know it's kind of random. I need to move it. It actually needs to be more to the side. Actually, I think it's actually just like... Oh! By the way, I'm covering up part of the board with... Oh, yeah, I'm like covering up the board with stuff. I didn't realize. Yeah, I should not be doing that. Yeah, I keep forgetting I was covering up stuff. Like, I'm covering up some of the board. I didn't realize that. How about we just do that? And that. No, it's gotta be like... Well, it'll be blocked by the interface. That's the problem. It'll be blocked by the interface. I think that one's usually fine. Oh, I think here's the huge problem. Part of the board is completely cut off. Yeah, part of the board was like, I had it too big. Oh, because I had it on desk cam. I forgot to fix it before the beginning of the stream. That's what was going on. Yeah, because I have to have it zoomed in. Yeah, that's why that was there. Okay, yeah. That's okay right here, I think. And then I need to move this a little bit to the left. That's like, honestly, I think this might be fine, just like... right here. No, it needs to be... like over here. Yeah, it was just a little bit of an issue. Okay, yeah, now okay, yeah, sorry about that. I had, like, everything completely screwed up because I had it in drawing mode. Because I have to, like, zoom in the whole content, window for the drawing stream. You're Brennan? Who's Brennan? Wanna play chess? Yes! Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me also the music. I bumped up the music because the music was fire. But yeah, that was an issue. I'm so sorry about that. Yikes. Yeah, part of the board was not even showing. That was ridiculous. Yeah, apologize for that. It's a good thing I caught it early, about an hour into the stream. But we're still in the intro. Hey, what's up, Guy Ashby? Yeah, that was unfortunate. For the first hour of the stream, on the vertical live stream, part of the board was cut off. Wait, do I also have it? Oh, I also have it on the wrong side of the other stream. I had it on the left side. See, I forgot to change it. I forgot to change the stream setup. Yikes. Yeah, I have the webcam on the wrong side. Yeah, I forgot to change it for chess. Unfortunately. Yikes, I'm so sorry. I screwed things up really big time. I screwed things up really bad. I am so sorry. Yeah, both streams were messed up. The horizontal the horizontal stream had the webcam covering the map, covering the board, and the vertical live stream, the board was too zoomed in and you couldn't see the whole board. Don't worry about my time. Don't worry about giving me time back or anything like that. Just play the game. It's fine. I apologize for taking too long sometimes. Here's the thing about giving me time back. I was still looking at the board while I was doing all that. Do you understand? Like I'm still looking at the board. My mistakes aren't necessarily that I when I am distracted, I'm still looking at the board. I lose because I make moves without blunder checking them. But I am looking at the board, but then I realized too late that I screwed up. And I'm like, wait a minute, why did I do that? Do you notice that every time I make a mistake, I'm like, wait, why did I do that? Because I had already calculated it, but I just forgot that I calculated it. Like, that's the problem. It's not even about, like, how... Because I can spend, like, 30 minutes looking at a position, and all it takes is one slip. And it's not because I refuse to calculate it. It's because I didn't blunder check. That's like where my big issue is. Like my big issue is not necessarily lack of calculation. My issue is that I calculate, but then I throw it all out the window. That's my issue. And unfortunately, I don't really know how to solve it. Obviously, it's not going to get solved while like playing faster games or playing more casual games. But I need it to stop happening when I'm completely focused. Because what happens, I play like a slower game, and I have the same problems. Even though they happen less often, they still happen. It just happens less often. So it's a problem that obviously exists in extreme when I'm chatting on stream. Because when I'm playing on stream, I'm obviously going to be a lot more distracted. So that problem is going to present itself a lot more. And so like that's the big issue. Yeah, now that's pinned. So I have to attack the bishop that way. Like I wanted to attack this way by first trying to do something about the knight, which would have required maybe even trading the rook off for the knight. Yeah, I don't know why I thought I had something here. I thought I had a fork. Yeah, let's just sack the exchange. Maybe it's not so bad. But no, I don't like, if I make a mistake, it's my fault. I don't ever want to put that on my viewers. I don't ever want to put that on my opponent. If you decide to like give me time, that's up to you, but I'm actually going to discourage it, because if I use up too much time, that's my fault. It's not yours. I'm responsible for my clock. I'm responsible for my moves. It's nobody's fault but my own. And that's why I love chess so much, because it keeps me honest. And because I'm somebody who really likes, I have a really strong work ethic where if I make a mistake, I need to own up to it and I need to make changes. That's who I am as a person, and it's who I've always been. Well, maybe not always. I used to make a lot of mistakes, and it took a very long time. But here's the thing, is I ultimately made changes. I mean, 6 years ago, I went through the biggest change in my entire life. And it took a long time. I guess like 6.5 years ago, or 6 years and 3 months ago. Well, 6 years, yeah, 6.5 years ago, because it was like 6 years and 6 months ago. September of 2019, I started going to therapy and working on myself and making changes and trying my best to make amends, which is something I'm still working on. But that's more of my personal life, and I don't want to particularly get into that. But I have shared a lot of that journey on my stream, and a lot of it is like there's things that you guys don't know about. I feel very responsible for all the problems that exist in my life. Some of those I have literally no responsibility for. Some things are literally outside of anything that I've done. But I blame myself for it because of other things where it's like I screwed up a lot in my life. A lot of people screw up in their 20s and stuff. So it's like not like it's like this unheard of thing, but it is my responsibility now. And I have been taking that responsibility these past 6 years to make changes in my life. Just like with chess, if there are problems with your chess play, it's not up to your coach, it's not up to your friends, it's not up to other chess players, it's not up to your viewers. It's up to you to improve your chess. And that's why life is like extremely parallel. Like chess is extremely parallel to life. Problems you have in chess will not go away unless you deliberately own up to them. And until you do, you're not really going to make any improvement. Well, thank you, Professor Oak. You will not make improvements unless you own up to them. And I've had to own up to a lot. I gave up on myself in my 20s. And I didn't even, I was too afraid to pursue my gender transition back then when I was 18 to 21. I went back in the closet. I had a lot of toxic lifestyle things that I really don't want to get into. And I probably hurt a lot of people. And people forgive you in life. This is one thing people don't, I'm harsher on myself than others are. People have forgiven me for things that I believe they shouldn't be forgiving me for. But if we don't forgive others, we can't forgive ourselves. So I'm also kind of not respecting that maybe other people also have things that I don't know about. That maybe, I don't think it's everybody's job to know every single thing that goes on in other people's lives. Some people are fighting demons that you don't know about. And I feel like that's why we should always practice compassion. We don't know what other people are facing. Maybe they did something that they're not proud of, or that, maybe they were toxic. Maybe they were like, not really responsible for their own life. Maybe they were taking things too far, or, maybe they were angry. Maybe they were alcoholic, or, there's lots of things that people go through. And I can't just take all of that on myself. That's the biggest problem, is that there are things that I'm taking responsibility for that have nothing to do with me. And I think the important part is focusing on the things that I need to focus on. And I've done that. And I think I need to, learn how to respect other people, that not everything is on me. I don't have that kind of power. Okay, I don't have that kind of power. Other people have their own lives with their own regrets and, their own choices. And, I can literally not be responsible for every single choice other people make. They're also adults. They can make their own choices. And they do. And they might overlap sometimes, especially if there are people in my life and stuff like that. But I just think that, like, there's only so much that, like, at some point, yeah, I was losing that game. At some point you really need to, forgive yourself, because otherwise you can't move forward. Because if all you do is blame yourself for all your problems, well, let's use chess for an example. If you just beat yourself up over losing games and you don't actually look at what you could have done better, and you don't use that information, if all you did was look at your old games and you didn't play any new games, well, how are you supposed to learn from those mistakes if you don't get yourself back in the game? Like, you need to set up the board again and play again. So like, I feel like that's what we do to ourselves in our lives. Like, we can look at the past, but we don't want to live in the past, because we can't change it, and we can only change our current selves. And a lot of the times, like, first of all, we are literally not the same person. And that's why you have to choose who you allow into your life. Because if there are people in your life who are continuing to treat you very toxically, who are continuing to make every single day, they make a decision to be toxic, that means that they are in the present making bad decisions, which are very different than people that we forgive, or that we should forgive, that sometimes often we don't. We're like, that person hurt me in the past, and so I'm not going to forgive them. Well, if we don't forgive them, but we forgive, it's like there's lesser of two evils here. It's like, there's people who make changes, who make amends, who try to be better people, and then there are people who don't. And if we're going to give more credit to people who are just pretending to be better, instead of, forgiving the people who have harmed us, if we can't forgive people who harmed us, how are we supposed to forgive ourselves? And so it's like, I feel like there's a huge, parallel to chess and life. And unfortunately, we can't turn back time. And hopefully, nobody in my chat has done anything so bad that they can't come back from it. I think those are few and far between. I think there's a lot that, it obviously, we make mistakes. I was not strong enough to own up to who I really needed to be when I was in my 20s. I was really lost. I was untreated. I was undiagnosed as autistic. I was in a terrible environment, and I just need to move on from that, because I just, for everything that I blame myself for, I'm giving myself too much credit. Like, it's almost like an ego problem. There are people, like, everybody's struggling with stuff. People make bad decisions because we're flawed. And there are things that I will never know about. People that I thought were perfect, but I was putting them up on a pedestal. Because there's people who are probably hiding things from people, and they're ashamed of who they were. But it wasn't as public. So it's like, I've gone through a lot of demons, and I've overcome them. And I think that when you get to a point where you climb out of the abyss, and not everybody is able to do that. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm saying that I did a lot of work. And I don't expect people to think I'm this angel, which, people tend to. But I don't feel like I don't think anybody is some angel or a demon. I think that most people who harm us, there was something else deeper going on. It doesn't mean you need to allow that person in your life, but also you need to have some compassion that person was making mistakes too. And I don't want to get too deep into this because this goes into personal life, and I don't like talking about my personal life. I know I talk about a lot of stuff now, but that's in the present, and it's because I'm more public facing now. I try to leave the past behind. It blew out of control. My life was all over the place, and I had extremely public disgrace that I've been trying to climb out of for 2 decades. And people have forgiven me, and I've forgiven them. And I don't think there's any single person at fault. I think placing blame is usually the problem. But here's the thing is, I need to think about the future. And if I only think about the past, everyone makes mistakes. And if we define ourselves by our biggest mistakes, everyone loses. I've learned from them. That's the difference. And that's what people remember. Because I think being perfect is actually pretty suspicious. If somebody is completely perfect, unless it's somebody like Fred Rogers, which I'm pretty sure he probably wasn't perfect either. You know, I'm not, you know, like, everybody's human. Humans are flawed. I think Fred Rogers is one of the few examples that I don't think anybody can find anything negative about that person. Like, he was just like a saint. Okay, like, I mean, I don't think anybody found any dirt on him ever. If there was, that would be extremely crazy. Like, if there's some crazy scandal involving Fred Rogers, like, that'd be insane. That'd be insane. I think something would have surfaced. Like, he was under public scrutiny for like decades. I'm pretty sure people were trying to find dirt on them. That says more about the people looking for dirt than it does for him, right? So, like, I feel like there's very few people who are completely squeaky clean. Everybody has skeletons in their closet, but if we define ourselves by that and we try to, like, you know, expose everybody like that, it's like, you know, I wouldn't want to do that to other people. I wouldn't want to judge other people. It's like, I don't know. I don't like thinking about it. I don't like thinking about it. It's just, it's really unfortunate. You know, it's the main struggle of life. Especially as you get older, you accrue more experiences and you make more mistakes. But hopefully you make, you know, hopefully you don't make the same mistakes. But the longer you live on this planet, the more likely you are to make actual mistakes. And you just have to learn how to live with it. And I think, like, so many people think that once you've fallen from grace or whatever, that it's over. And it's like, well, that mentality just hurts you. And it hurts all the people who care about you. And I think the people who care about you want you to be able to forgive yourself. You know, like, if you had a drinking problem, or, you know, you had an anger issue or anything like that. I've had a lot of anger issues, and this is kind of like, I don't want to get into it. It's not good to like constantly focus on the past. I made deliberate efforts to move away from my past. And so that's why it's like, you know, I make a bad move in a chess game. I try to look at, okay, what should I have done? And see, it's like, I feel like this game, I made some really bad decisions early on. So, like, this, maybe that's kind of why I was talking about this. I was trying to avoid my reality of the chess game. I made some bad decisions early on. I don't think this was very good. I should have just moved the knight here. Play the book move there. But I don't think it was, like, completely terrible. Yeah, unfortunately. I literally think, like, just going back. Wait, where's the best move here? Oh. Yeah, because I don't want to block the entrance here. I mean, the exit. Because if I had moved over here, or if I moved over here, after here, I could just move back. Still a bit better for black. Yeah, every now and then, people who have been here for a while, they know that I kind of fight a lot of demons, and being public facing, it's really hard to, like, keep everything bottled in, and I try to find a good balance of, like, trying to learn from my past mistakes, and I am pretty strong. A lot of people are afraid of being on camera because they're afraid of being exposed, but for everything you think you've done wrong in life, for everything you think you've done wrong in life, there's like 10 people who have done things like twice as bad. And it's not, I don't like comparing it that way, but, like, it's just, you're giving yourself too much credit. Like, I think it's like the ego. We blame ourselves for every single problem we've had in life. And it's like, you don't have that kind of power. That's the reality. It's so multifaceted. And it's just, I think it's just like, you know, That's why we play chess. Chess is like, okay, well, there's only one other person on the game. If I make a mistake, this is something you can take ownership of. You know, your opponent might be a lot stronger than you, but if your opponent is equal strength to you and you lose, that you have evidence, you can only blame yourself. You know, so it's like, that's why chess, I think, is so powerful, because we can't get that in life. Like, in regular life, we can't just blame ourselves for everything. Oh, we can, but it's bad. If we just blame ourselves, we get like extreme mental health issues. And I would know, because that's what's happening with me. I have extreme mental health issues because I'm taking too much credit. Yeah, I don't know. I try not to air a lot of personal laundry on stream. It's not healthy. Sometimes I don't really know how else to engage with my audience, so like sometimes just talking about my personal life is kind of like one of my defaults. But honestly, I think it's fine. I think I'm like I'm spiraling. Like not like spiraling out of control, but like I'm kind of like rambling and going I'm going in circles. I just need to calm the fuck down. Oh, the light went off. That was eerie timing. And the music went silent at the same time too. What the hell does that even mean? It doesn't mean anything. That's the point I'm trying to make. Not everything is some symbolic, life-changing thing. You need to calm the fuck down, Rebecca. Shit ain't that serious. I'll be okay. I have a lot of evidence that people really like me, and people really respect me, and they people say I'm an amazing human being, and that's in spite of my flaws. Not because I'm like hiding anything, not because I'm like pretending to be somebody I'm not. It's because they see me including my flaws, and they see the alternatives. Like I could have made so many bad choices, and I chose not to. I chose to make good choices, and that's what matters. And I keep taking it for granted, but like there are people who never change, and so I try to remember about, you know, like I try to put things in perspective. Keep believing that? I mean, you don't even know me. What the hell? You're just trolling. Oh, obviously just take the queen and then... Yeah, I think it takes a lot of strength, you know, to put yourself out there, and I need to like stop downplaying like the kind of strength I have. There are people who would not in a million years, like, you know, put themselves out there like on YouTube and such. People are deadly afraid of being seen in public. And I keep taking it for granted because it's just so normal for me. All right, let's play. Hyphenator. I like your I like your profile picture. That's funny. It's cute. Yeah, you know, I think like part of like streaming, it kind of gives you perspective. It's a huge practice, and this is why people say it's like bad for their mental health. It kind of is, but I don't think in the way people think it is. It's what you allow it to be. Because you could say, you know, oh, it's just bad to constantly be dealing with like, you know, being public and having people, you know, harass you and be negative and such. But like, there's another level to it that I think a lot of people don't fully understand. Is that it's a huge like practice in being able to like stand up in the face of people who are trying to tear you down. And that's a strength. And it's a trait that people admire. And being admired, what it's taught me is that being admired is not really, it doesn't really feel that good to be admired. It makes me feel like a fraud. Because I've had a lot of people in my life, they look up to me because they see that I'm online, and they're like, I could never do that. They say like, that's really brave. And they say things like, that's a strength that you're able to stand up against all that. And I'm like, well, it teaches you things about yourself. It helps you understand like the context of like people who know nothing about you and people who show up and claim to know everything about you when they only know you from what you put out online. It just kind of puts things in perspective. And if you do it right, it helps you appreciate the people in your life who truly do know who you are and who respect you. And even in spite of your flaws, that, you know, that it's not that they look past it. It's that they, you know, they move past it with you, because you can never like look past your problems. I think like that's like one of the biggest things I've learned in life. Yeah, see, like being admired it's a lot of pressure, and it makes you feel like you don't deserve it. That's where a lot of the mental illness comes from being really online and like very public facing. I wouldn't want to say just on. I don't think it's a phenomena that is unique to being online. I think this happens with people who aren't on social media as well, but who are in positions of high scrutiny, like, you know, people who are like, you know, management, people who are business owners. They might not necessarily be on social media. They might not be like celebrities, like actors or whatever, but I feel like it's the same problem. When a lot of people are holding you up to such a high standard, there's a pressure to be perfect. Like if you're a business owner, there's people that you employ, you know, you have to like, you know, set a standard for them. Yeah, you can send me a challenge, make sure it's unrated. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I get a little bit lost in, there's a lot of things I've dealt with these past 6 years that I will most likely never share on stream. A lot of personal development. Sometimes I share a little bit, and it is really scary because, you know, when you show so much online and then, you know, you show a little bit of vulnerability, it's like kind of scary. But I have to keep faith that I trust myself to be strong. I trust myself to, I've gotten through so much in life. Hey, Orbital Dilf. Oh, we got a Dilf in chat. Let's go. Yeah. Maybe I'll just like, I think also taking a step back and just kind of like, hey, like, let's lighten the mood a little bit. Like, let's just get back to silliness. You know, like, I don't have to be serious all the time. I think that's also another part of it. And, you know, yeah, it's just like, sometimes I get a little bit serious on chat. I know people really appreciate it sometimes when I'm not just when I show a little bit more of myself than I usually do. I know some people really respect it, but sometimes it can be a little too much. And it's like, hey, like let's take a step back a little bit. We're chilling. I had my yerba mate. We're listening to some music and we're playing some chess together. That's what's really happening right now. This is like a bit of a reality check. Like, I think sometimes we get lost in our thoughts and we forget that we're not in the past. Like, I think it's like so easy to get stuck on a single track of thoughts. But really, the only thing that truly matters right now is that, like, the exact moment right now. I am literally at my computer, hanging out with my stream, playing chess. That is literally what is happening. And I think, like, sometimes we get too detached from reality. Like, we get lost in like all of our thoughts, and we don't focus on the moment. And I'm not saying that and I think there's like the flip side of that. Like, when we only focus on the present, I think that can also become toxic. Because then it's like, hey, like, we get that you're in the present, but like, life is very nuanced. And there's more to life than just constantly living in the present. Because sometimes you can, if you live too much in the present, sometimes like you overlook things. Like, I think the vast majority of the time, if you live completely in the present, you'll be fine. Oops, what am I doing? I hung my rook. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, I can check first. I think there is a balance. Being able to, like, be introspective and think about, like, hey, like, I'm not perfect, and there's things I could have done better, and there's things I could be doing better. Being a little bit future oriented, being a little bit past oriented, and then but also recognizing that, hey, right now we're chilling. Nobody's in danger. My life is not over. Like things are much simpler than they seem. And it's so easy to, like, feel like your life is completely over, that you destroyed your life, and that like I feel like, you know, it's really hard to destroy your life. You have to make very extremely deliberate behavior to actually destroy your own life. Like, that's really hard to do. And I feel like, you know, it's so easy to, like, blame yourself. And I don't know. I'm going in circles. I'm going in circles. I need to change the topic. Let's just focus on the game. I'm not going to let anybody, especially myself, gaslight me into thinking I'm anything but amazing. Because honestly, I know that it's, like, so easy to think that you're being egotistical, but, like, no, some things are earned. Like, I've earned a lot through deliberate efforts to become a better person. And I think that's like hard to... It's hard to accept. It's really hard to accept. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna be behind a pawn here. Bishop can't even go to e5. You mean d5. Yeah, unfortunately this is pretty screwed for me. Even though I'm up a pawn, these two past pawns are crazy. I have to put the queen here on e8. Arms are like my size. Never saw arms that strong. That's because I'm pretty strong. Whoa. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna lose a queen for a rook. It's crazy. Oh! Oh, and then yeah. Same idea. I'm actually not... I'm still only down a pawn, though, after all that. But it's... Yeah, now I'm down another pawn. Yeah, it's just gonna get worse and worse. You guys are crazy. I try not to take anything you guys say personally, by the way, so... Like I said, I've gone through so much bullshit in life. There's a lot of things I don't know, maybe... I don't think fixating on it is a good idea, but what I will say is that I think this was the right move to win that pawn. I have been through so much, oops, public scrutiny and public disgrace in my personal life, that some online chatters, you know, trolling me, it doesn't, it's just like, you see perspective. Like, when you've had public disgrace and real repercussions for in your life, it's just like, it's almost like a joke. Yeah, there we go. I don't know. I need to step away for a little bit. I'll give me a minute. I just need to sometimes you just need to hit a little bit of a reset button. Let me refill my water bottles. Yeah, I apologize. Maybe I think, like, obviously I'm living inside my own head a lot. And also I think things like feel a lot heavier than they actually seem. Um but I think a lot of it is I got some kefir. Sorry. Yeah, I did some squats. I'm just trying to move into this next chapter of my life. That's like kind of like there's a lot of emotions that come up. I feel like so many negative emotions from this living situation, and it's so easy to live in the past. The Brugentrager? What the hell is that? You're making shit up. Oh, to be fair, most things in chess are made up. Yeah, I think things are going to smooth out a lot more after I move into my new living situation. I think living in this trailer brings up a lot of negative emotions. So like I'll talk about a lot of things, and I'm being like triggered by things that are not relevant. And partially that's my fault. I think I need to learn more mental resilience. Being able to stay focused on like what actually matters, rather than going through all these thoughts about what I should have done, what I should have said, like, like always living in constant doubt and like not being confident in myself. I think I need to remember what matters. I'm a badass bitch. I got myself through like 5 years worth of transgender procedures. I got my surgeries. I got my facial surgery. I got vaginoplasty. I got, legal changes. I finally got to the root of a lot of my problems with an autism diagnosis and getting an income from being permanently disabled from issues stemming from that. I got connected to regional center, North Bay Regional Center, and all they're finding me all sorts of resources that are gonna get me housing away from this that has plagued my entire life. I've never had independence my entire life. For 20 years, I've been an adult. I'm 38 now. I've never had a truly independent situation. Not once. And so I'm about to have a huge change happen in my life. I already had huge changes. I already had vaginoplasty. That was a big deal 2 years ago. forever changed my body to match my gender, and it's one of the most it's actually the most profound thing that's ever happened to me, with like amazing results. I feel so much happier in my body. And so now I have another problem in my life that's been housing and independence. And so now I have this agency that is finding housing for me. And it's not just housing, it's a supportive home where people sign up deliberately to help people like me. And they're approved. There's like a whole vetting process. There's like a resource process. There's like a training process. And they're finding a match for me where I'm going to be in a very supportive home where I can fully become myself, pursue my career, pursue my relationships, gain financial independence, and not just, I mean, maybe I have to live on SSI the rest of my life. I would rather, you know, level up. And I think you guys are going to notice on stream, I'm going to be leveling up in real time. And my content is going to change. I think for the better over time. It might not happen immediately. It might not happen overnight. But I firmly believe that once I moved into the new living situation, I'm going to be able to start thriving. And truly exploring what my content can be. I've been trying, Marie, I've been trying to help myself my whole entire adult life. I've been an adult for 20 years. It wasn't until I accepted that I'm not strong enough and that I need help. And then things started making significant changes in my life when I started accepting help. Like, sometimes it's really hard to accept help. But I got help. And I'm still getting help. And I'm not going to stop getting help. They're not just going to get me a house and then ditch. Like, this is an ongoing process for the rest of my life. Like, we're just getting started. And maybe some people are going to, you know, get bored of me. But I think there's a lot of people on my stream that are excited to see the leveling up process. Like, you guys have been watching me for a long time, and I've been gradually improving my life step by step by step. And it's not going to stop. Like, I'm not going to stop. Like, it's going to ramp up. Like, I'm not just going to, like, slow, like, I'm going to, like, start, like, keep pushing and pushing and pushing to always do better. And you guys are going to notice. And yeah, some parts of my life are personal, and maybe there's some that's like kind of up in the air about, you know, some things can't be fixed. Like, I can't stop being autistic. That's not going to happen. But, and you know, like, maybe there's, you know, like, you know, there's some personal things that, you know, like, that have nothing to do with, you know, my content, personal relationships and stuff like that. You know, those are lifelong things, and there's nobody's business but mine. And I think everybody has something like that. Like, obviously, everybody has their own battles to fight. And some, you know, I just don't think everything belongs online. Like, personal relationships and stuff like that. You see what's going on with a lot of the celebrities. Every time they start having, you know, their public life, I mean, their private life start to seep into their public life, you get a whole bunch of unnecessary drama. And it's like, well, they're already complicated issues to begin with. And there's points where I think it is good to air things publicly, like if somebody is being extremely violent, you know, something like that. And, you know, like, like the whole thing. I don't want to get into, you know, like, streamer drama, but you know, there's nothing like that going on in my life. Like, there's nobody like hurting me physically or, you know, like, I'm not like dating, you know, people. Like, I mean, I am polyamorous, but like, I have very high standards, for the kind of people I allow in my life, men and women, because I don't fully trust women either. I do have trust issues with men. That is not something, yeah, I live under the, I'm in Harry Potter's room. Yeah, I live under the stairs. You also air publicly, you fart. Oh, hey, autistic helicopter. You spinning me around, right round, like a record, baby? Okay. A fart joke. You just made a fart joke, bro. I do have very high standards with men I have in my life and with women I have in my life. I've had issues with all sorts of people. Where I trusted people and they ended up hurting me very badly. I shouldn't have trusted them. They were dangerous. Like very dangerous. And I got scared because I couldn't trust myself anymore. Oops. I don't know what I did that for. I have huge trust issues. And so I have really high standards for myself because of that. I don't let just anybody into my life. Not anymore. And I am polyamorous. So it's not like, you know, there's plenty of fish in the sea. I'm not glued to any one person. You don't say. Issues? You don't trust anyone? You gotta trust people to a point. Like, if you just don't trust anyone, oof, yeah, this is... I'm just gonna toss this game out, okay? Like... You're a lone wolf? Yeah, no, I've had a lot of really toxic men in my life. I've had a few toxic women in my life, too. People I should not have been with. But I don't need to talk about them. It's very personal. It doesn't belong on my stream. But the thing I do share a little bit on stream, and it's more about like the effects and the lessons. I think the lessons we learn, those are the important ones. I think I can actually push here. No? Oh, I guess just giving an escape square. Yeah, yeah, that was where I lost the game. I think I need a counterattack. Yep. You still take the queen. I take queen. And then I think you save the bishop. Or no, maybe you go the other way. Yeah, right here. Just, you know, that pawn's not going anywhere, so... Yeah, and this is just a losing endgame for me. Should play Slay the Spire? I have no idea what that is. Yeah, you can send me a challenge, Plasmask. Yeah, let's look at my stats. Yeah, Blitz is terrible. We're not even going to pay attention. Like, I've lost 367 points. And Bullet is even worse. I have lost a few rapid points this past 90 days, but I'm going back up. Like, gradually. Past 90 days, I've only played 20 games. You know, like, I have not played... Yeah, I've only played 22 games in the past year. You see, I only played 2 games beside that in the past, like... In the past year, I've played 22 games. In the past 3 months, I've played 20 games. That should tell you a lot about where I am right now. I'm slowly getting back into chess. I will respond to you, Andy. It's just I normally don't respond to extremely interrogation. A lot of people come in here with very strong opinions about trans people, and I really don't like the tone. Here's what you need to understand. If it matters so much to you, and you're attracted to somebody, and you want to have sex with them, and it's so important about what their genitals are, then don't be surprised when somebody's offended when you ask. Because think about it this way. If you're attracted to somebody and you found out they were half black, and you're like, why didn't you tell me? Like, well, that's just a weird vibe. Why would I want to be with somebody or respect somebody who cares so much about my... And also, yeah, genital preferences do matter. No one is claiming otherwise. I don't know why you're so stuck on things that are not even real. It's all in your own head. Like, nobody is telling you that you have to be with somebody because they're genitals. What they're mad about is that you're so fixated on it and you get violently angry about it. That you're so angry that you can't stop talking about it. The fact that you're coming into my chat talking about it tells me that you are personally triggered by this. Second of all, if it matters so much to you, it's not up to the individual. If it matters so much to you whether or not someone has a dick or a vagina, then it's up to you to ask. Or if they used to have a dick. Because I'm post-op. Like, I have a vagina. But honestly, I would not want to be with somebody who's even like... If they're going to have a problem with it, like, they don't deserve my time. They're clearly attracted to me enough to go on a date with me, enough to have sex with me. But as soon as they find out a detail like that, suddenly they're all grossed out. That tells me more about them than it does about me. No, people are just highly insecure. It has nothing to do with me. And I'm not going to let those people dictate my life. I don't owe anybody an explanation. I didn't do anything wrong. I am me, and I'm allowed to be me. And just because I'm trans, if you have an issue with that, then like it's up to you to make your own decisions for what you do with your own body. So I mean, how should people ask? I'm just saying, there are times where it's like, yeah, it makes sense if you're about to have sex with somebody. If it truly matters to you, then that's your call. Nobody is saying that you are not allowed to do that. I wouldn't want anybody to expect to have sex with someone just not to hurt their feelings. Like, what the fuck? Just joined and instantly saw you playing chess and talking about the deed. Yeah, it is a little crazy crossover. Yeah. Welcome to my channel. No, I get a lot of people coming into my chat and they feel entitled to asking me about transgender stuff, which I kind of get. I'm not like delusional into thinking that that's not going to happen, but it's just kind of telling. Like, people are so focused. People feel so entitled. I guess it's the same as if you saw like somebody from China and she or he was streaming and you ask him or her about China. Like, what's it like in China? What's it like in China? Like, if you're from China and and it's very like, you know, not like something that's like you've hidden or whatever. Like, it's like maybe people are going to ask you about what it was like in China. But, like, do you understand, like, how annoying that looks? Like, Jesus Christ. do you see how annoying that would be? Like, if you were Chinese and people kept coming into your chat asking about what you think about China or what China was like. So you see a trans person and you're like, what's it like to be trans? Like, you know, do you still have sex? Like, what's it like? What was it like having the surgery? Do you have a dick or a vagina? Like, no, I'm not Chinese. I'm just saying I was making a comparison, Invoice. I almost called you Invoice Queef. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, it's like seeing a unicorn. Yeah, from their perspective, this is why I don't completely blame them. Not everybody. Some people are just annoying. But this is why I don't completely blame them. Because for them, it's a novel experience. It's a novel topic. They've never been able to talk to a trans person before. Because I'm very open. And maybe it is my own fault, quote unquote. Because I'm very open about a lot of my experience. I've experienced it live these past, like... I had my surgery 2 years ago, and for the whole 5 years that I spent working for getting that surgery, I talked about it publicly on my stream. But I also don't think that that's, I mean, that makes sense though. It's something that was important to my life. And obviously, even though I am primarily trying to make content, and I have not been, I don't think I've done a particularly good job at being a content creator. But that's about to change soon. I'm going to get a new living environment, and things are going to be a lot more conducive towards creative output. And I have been doing creative output, you know, all that being said, I literally have been doing creative output. It's hard for, and I understand that some people, it's going to be very novel to them. They see a famous person and they're like, oh my God, you're so famous. Can I get a picture with you? And like, some people are like, okay, sure, whatever. But it's just, it gets annoying when like 500 people, you're like the 500th person to come to talk and ask for a photograph. Do you understand? Like if you're like the 500th person, it's unique to you. It's a special occasion to you, but it's not to the person who's been asked 500 times. So being like a trans person, especially somebody who has documented her transition publicly and who has also gotten surgeries that not every trans person gets, because I worked hard enough and I'm lucky enough to have gotten the vaginoplasty. A lot of people have questions because it's really rare. Most people who have had this surgery that I have are not online. Or if they are, they're only like doing certain types of content and they don't engage with their audience, right? Not everybody is as sexual as I am. That's also another thing. I'm very open about my sexuality. That's actually very rare. A lot of people, including myself, have been, had their sexuality suppressed because of discomfort around our bodies, because we're transgender, and like gender dysphoria ruled like all of my life until I was 31, and even then it took 5 years to get my surgery. So it's only been about 2 years that I've had the body that made me feel comfortable. So yeah, I am kind of like suppressed, like emotionally and sexually and like all sorts of stuff. It was hard for me to even like, you know, I had a hard time taking my shirt off in public, you know, before transitioning. Now I can wear a bikini and like I can be a model. I'm a model now. Like I'm naked in front of people as they draw me in an art class. Like that's something I never could have done before. And it's perfectly comfortable for me now. I love my body. Without all those fans, though, who are you? What are you talking about? Person asking should make it unique to the receiver. This is your first time talking to a trans person and hearing your perspective. Yeah, I mean, this is why I try to, like, not assume the worst. Like, I try to treat it the same way as, like, a celebrity would. which might even become the case for me too. So I am working on a social media content creation career and modeling career and acting career. So this is something I need to get used to now, and I kind of am, because in a lot of ways, even though I have a very small amount of followers, because I'm a transgender person, people treat me the same way they would a celebrity. Because they see a trans person, they're like, I never get to see a trans person. Let me talk to this person. I'm going to ask questions about their medical history. And like, in a lot of ways, that's like the same way as like someone saying, oh, I saw you in this movie. You're so awesome. You're so famous. I bet you hear a lot of this from a lot of fans. Oh, but can I get your photograph? Can I get a photo? Like, I bet a lot of celebrities deal with that. And it's kind of the same. So in a lot of ways, I kind of have the celebrity experience without actually being a celebrity, which is honestly kind of good because I get to practice it and not go through mental spirals later. I get to practice it while I'm unpopular. It's like something that no celebrity really gets to go through. Like, if you really think about it, it's a skill most people learn way too late. Like, after they've made like some, poor decisions and like, hurt their mental health, or like, drug addictions, and like, you've seen it happen, right? Like, I know I don't like particularly getting into like celebrity gossip, but you've seen it happen before, where people are so like, they get successful, they get famous, and then they can't really handle the spotlight. Like the influx of fans. Is it annoying? I don't know if it's annoying. It's just annoying because the tendency is not always positive. The tendency is usually people are very like, I'm just asking questions. Like, no, you're not just asking questions, you're instigating. There's a difference between asking questions because you're curious and asking questions because you want to get in an argument. Like, calm down. Like, you're coming in hot, bro. Like, you come in and you're asking about things because you want to try to prove me wrong. I'm sorry, but you're just going to get timed out or banned because it's so annoying. When somebody comes in because they have some political opinion about trans people and they want to try to convince me why I'm a terrible person. Like, do you see how annoying that is? It's just exhausting. And it's like, there's no reason for it. Yeah, it's intrusive. Well, it's not just being intrusive, they're being abrasive. They're like, don't you know the statistics? Here's all the statistics of all the people. That's all the people that are regretting all the. Like, no, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're coming in so hot. Like, what the fuck? Hey, what's up, Dubcon? Yeah, you can sense their motives. I can sense them. It's like I'm moving through the jungle and I can see it's like you fart and I can smell the fart. Her is just a question, calm down, der. Yeah, it's like, I'm just asking questions. Like, no, you're not. You're instigating. You're trying to get me to have an emotional response. And you're trying to justify your beliefs. It's not about me at all. That's what makes it a little easier. Knowing that they think that they're unique, they think they're special, but there's like 500 other people that have asked the same thing that you did with the same intentions that you did. You're not special. You're not unique. You're not some, philosopher. You're just a random dude on the internet who is ignorant and trying to ask questions in a way that is intrusive and abrasive. Like, you're interrogating me for my existence, that you're basically assuming that my entire existence is inherently pornographic and inappropriate, and that there's something inherently wrong with me. You're trying to justify the beliefs you already have. You're not actually trying to change your mind. Hear you saying you can smell fart? Yeah, exactly, Rohit. We can smell farts in here. There are farts. I mean, I am having some probiotics. Good luck. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like just part of the deal. You know, you go on social media, you're gonna attract those types of people no matter what. And you're a transgender person, it makes it even more it's like you're basically asking for it. I know it sounds like terrible, but like I'm basically asking for it at that point, but not that it's justified. Oops, what am I doing? There's a knight there. How long you play chess? Too long to have been this low rated. And to make mistakes like that. I've been playing way too long to be making those kind of mistakes. I don't know what is wrong with me. I know exactly what's wrong with me, by the way. I'm not trying to justify it. But what's wrong with me is that I've been living in survival mode for 20 years. And I was living in survival mode at that point my whole entire childhood. I've never had independence. I've never had stability in housing. This is like the most stable situation I've been in, and I'm living in a trailer in this tiny little box with my alcoholic dad, with mold in the house, and like all sorts of terrible shit going on. And I've never been able to truly live. And it's hard to focus on things like chess or even like basic routines when you can barely even think straight because of survival. It's been terrible. It's held me back my entire life. I have not been able, and I wish I was stronger, but I'm not. I am autistic, and I have very, very real issues surrounding, you know, my ability to live life. And I've struggled with it my entire life. I've tried to solve it on my own. I just kept on getting shoved to the ground by life because reality has other plans. And instead of fighting it anymore, I started getting help. And so things have been slowly changing, and now I'm about to get housing. So, with support, like it's like an FHA, family housing assistance. It's basically like a approved program with people who, basically it's basically like an apartment situation, but it's like in someone's home. And yeah, this is no good. Yeah, this is no good. When you're constantly living in fight and flight mode, and you're so depressed that you can't even think straight, you're basically numbing everything out in your brain. And I've numbed myself out with marijuana a lot. And I went to the mental hospital multiple times. So I don't use marijuana anymore. But like you just keep constantly getting bombarded with survival mode instead of actually living life. And so now I'm about to get into a place where I'm going to be able to have some breathing room. And so I'm going to, for the first time in my entire life, I'm going to have that kind of space, that emotional space, that psychological space, the physical space. Yeah, Section 8 as well. I'm also on, I've been waiting for 6 years on Section 8. I had to reapply. They try to, you know, they're really assholes. They try to, they want you to fail. Like, if you, like, you have to be on top of it. I had to reapply. You know, you basically have to like refresh it, or you'll have to start over from the beginning. Fortunately, I was able to refresh it. You have to like resubmit, you know, your documents or whatever. You have to do something to like reapply and make sure you don't lose the wait list. I've been on the wait list for 6 years. About like, I think 2 or 3 years ago, I had to like refresh it. Yeah, it's like living on edge 24/7, and that's about to change. Yeah, mine is a little bit different because I have a developmental disorder. I have lifetime access to resources in the form of regional centers in California, and I qualify for FHA. So it's a little bit like different than like rapid rehousing. It's like, yeah, it's like permanent supportive housing. I mean, it's I don't even know exactly what it's going to look like. It's probably going to be a lot more relaxed than I think it is. It's probably going to be more like an apartment situation. I'm extremely independent. Like, let's look at my situation objectively. I've been living in this trailer with an alcoholic for, at this point, since 2015. So 11 years. Maybe 12, yeah, since 2014. So for 12 years, I've been living in this house, in this trailer, in this room for 12 years. I went through some college program at some point. When I started transitioning and I started going to therapy and I got my autism diagnosis in 2019, I started, advocating for myself. I got my surgeries to happen. In 2022, I got my orchiectomy. In 2023, I got my facial surgery. In 2024, I finally got my vaginoplasty. Things that I never thought were possible. I never thought it was going to be possible to get my vaginoplasty, but not only that, I got my facial surgery. I never thought that facial surgery was not even on my radar, but I got that to happen in this situation. And I was able to get myself, I was able to advocate for myself to get on Section 8. I was able to get some support with like autism related support. I was able to get connected with North Bay Regional Center for life because now I have lifetime access to resources such as housing assistance. Like, I don't think I'm fully understanding how insanely strong that makes me. Like, I can't fail anymore. Like, there is no more failing. I'm not going to be on my own ever again. I'm not going to be just like, kicked out on the street wondering where I'm going to sleep tonight. That's never going to happen again. I've already been in the homeless situation, 2010 to 2014. Why are you so mad? Why do you think I'm mad? What are you talking about? Rapid rehousing is an apartment anywhere in the state with the first month's being... Yeah, I know what rapid rehousing is. Basically, it's like free, then 10% for the next two, then 20%, then 30%, and then eventually you have to pay for it yourself. I can't really do that because I'm on SSI, and I'm not making enough money to be able to pay 100%. And I am trying to slowly build myself a career, but that is very unlikely to happen for a significant amount of time. It's very uncertain, and that is not conducive to being able to pay for my own housing. Not for a quite long time. What the hell is Larkin? IKEA? It's like I'm gonna put you together and you're gonna fall apart in like 3 months? Is that what's going on? Yeah, SSI took like 2 years. It took 3 denials, and then I had to get a judge, or I had to get a lawyer. They really don't want people to improve their lives. The people who, I know it's like, this is like really kind of like exhausting to, and also kind of like, oh yeah, another poor person complaining about the system. Like people are rolling their eyes. It's true. And I'm trying not to define my life by this. And I don't like being that person. I've had a lot of people in my life that I never want to be like, who all they do is complain about the government. And I never want to be that person. But pointing it out is not the same. These systems are meant to punish people who need the most help, and to lift people up who need the least amount of help. For example, like look at the library, right? You check out a book for free. If it's overdue, you start owing them money. Like, or no, like if you have an overdraft in your bank, they start charging you for every overdraft. But if you have money, you never have to face that problem. The only people who have to face it are the people living paycheck to paycheck. Are you single? Yeah, and I'm polyamorous, so technically I'm never single. Like, if you really think about it. Like I'm honestly like never really single. I just have multiple partners with different relationship status. But I don't really have too many partners at the moment. Everything's very loose and casual right now. Yeah, I am a trans woman, post-op. I don't always answer those questions in chat because I do try to steer away from topics surrounding my gender identity, and I would appreciate it if people respected that. And I'm trying to not be a stereotype. I know everybody has a stereotype about people who are trans because all trans, they say like, oh, all they do is talk about it. And then, well, it's hard not to talk about it when all the people coming into your chat are asking about it. Like, so if you guys are asking about it and I'm talking about it, why am I getting the blame? You're like, oh, it's trans people. Everything is trans this, trans that, trans flag everywhere. And it's like, you guys complain about that, but you guys are the ones asking about it constantly. So it's like, that's why I don't always engage with those questions. Yeah, I mean, that sucks. Like, you got Section 8 acceptance, and then they told you to contact them by a date that had already passed by the time I got the letter. Yeah, exactly. They're so slow. They send you a letter in the mail, and you have a certain date to respond, and it, like, you just got the letter, and it's already too late. It's a failing system, and it's designed to, like, punish you for things that you didn't do. It's just so fucked up. Trans Am? Oh, like a car? Trans fat? Transatlantic? Transportation? Yeah, everything. Transit? Yeah, why are you guys obsessed with trans? You guys are obsessed with trains and buses and airplanes. I mean, yeah, I understand. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier, Omni King, that, like, obviously I don't always assume people are being, like, assholes or whatever, because sometimes people are genuinely just, like, they're not sure if I'm trans or not. And yeah, I do, like, sometimes people want to know. I also think it's kind of weird that you need to know. Like, would it change how you feel about me? Like, that says more about the individual. Like, if you need permission to follow me and to watch my stream, then maybe that's something about you. Like, it's like you need permission to be attracted to me. Like you ever needed permission at all. Like, you can be attracted to me, you can not be attracted to me. That has nothing to do with me. That's your own business. I'm most likely you're never gonna see me in real life. I mean, not unless it was like a public situation, like as like a content creator. But then you'd still just be like that'd be like a meet and greet, like, fan situation. That's not going to be like, you're not going to date me. Yeah, but don't give up, Kyle, because as soon as you give up, like, there's always hope. You know, I know it's really hard, and it's so, and you're rolling your eyes probably. I don't know for sure, but most likely you heard me say that, and you're like, oh yeah, another person just telling me to not give up. That's all we can do. And if I gave up when I had, like, barriers put in front of me, I almost didn't have my surgery happen. I was the lowest I had ever been in 2023. My surgery was originally scheduled for November 28th. And in the first week of November, I got a phone call from my surgeon. And I was like, if my surgeon is calling me, it has to be bad news. Because if it was something about scheduling or something, you know, like the surgeon actually called me, and I was like, this isn't bad news. And he's like, well, it's not what you want to hear. And it's like, and I'm like, oh God. And it's like, because I'm diabetic, he wanted my A1C to be lower. It was at 7.2. He wanted it below 6. He wanted it 6.9 or below. And I was devastated, but I cried and I cried and I cried. But then I got up and I went out for a run, and I kept going on 1 hour walks every day. I changed my diet even further discipline than it already was. I was like, I was like so glued to my blood sugar levels. I think I was checking like 20 times a day to take the exact amount of insulin I needed to. And in a month, I got my A1C to 6.7. Normally, it takes like months to get like a single decimal point. I got it down by 0.5 decimal points. Okay, 6.7 from 7.2 in a single month. Okay, I was insane. I had no other purpose in life. I had to make this happen. There was no saying no to this. This was it. This was the end of everything. If I don't want to be like, I don't want to be too bleak here, but I'm going to be realistic here. I had never besides that point, like that was the only point where I thought that it was truly over. That my life was truly over. And I don't want to get into details because we're on YouTube, but I legit thought that my life was over. After all that I've been through, after everything I fought for, after everything I've been through, that I fought really hard for and got to happen. I had facial surgery. I had the legal name and gender change. I was like working with like people to get me like housing and stuff. But that surgery needed to happen, and I fucking made it happen because I didn't want to die. I didn't want to die. And so my only choice was to fucking just own up to it and just get my blood sugar down. Something that I had never done before. I'd never gotten it below 7 before. I didn't know how long it was going to be before I could make the surgery happen. It was indefinite. It wasn't just like a quick reschedule. They weren't going to reschedule it until it was down. And I had never gone below 7 before. The lowest I had ever had was 7.0. And I was terrified. I was like, what if I can never make it happen? Is this just never going to happen? Am I just going to have to, like, is this over? Like, is my life over? And I had never considered anything remotely as final as I had in that moment. And I chose to live. And I fought for it. Why don't skeletons fight each other? Because they don't have the guts? In this moment, right now, I choose you. Aw, thank you, Gigon. Flex those biceps. Strong woman. You know, out of, like, you know, Guts is like the most loyal protector that you could ever ask for. Like, he will fucking keep you protected. Like, maybe he attracts a lot of, you know, negative energy and all that, but honestly, like, you couldn't ask for a better protector. Drink that water for me? Why don't programmers why don't programmers like nature? Because there are too many bugs. Yeah. What's up, Jock? So you have watched Berserk. You're the real Berserk? Berserker Barrage! Yeah, Jet Boy. Honestly, I know people think I'm some kind of like degenerate loser. I'm probably one of the healthiest people you will ever see, like in the live streaming space. Like, I have a very balanced approach to life, and like, I'm very social. I have my priorities straight. Like, out of all those live streamers you see out there, like, I don't think you're gonna find anyone healthier than me. Like, what? The inventor of petroleum jelly ate a spoonful of it every day and lived to be 96? Jesus. Hmm. Spider-Man versus Spider-Man?
What? She does stream?
Well, thanks for the subscription, Priyanshush. Priyanshu. Are we not going to talk about Spider-Man? We're not going to talk about Spider-Man. Yeah, Priyanshu Singh. Priyanshu. I was guessing that's an Indian name because of the Singh. Yeah, Debit Jash. Debjit Jash. Debjit Jash, what are you, Devin Nash? Welcome. I don't know if Devin Nash likes me or not. Might think I'm annoying. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he respects me. I mean, if he knew really everything I've been going through, then I think he would respect me. I don't know. I don't need other people's respect, especially strangers online. But I do think Devin Nash is pretty cool. I watch all of his Patreon. But honestly, like, if interestingly enough, like, if you take what he says to heart, you kind of realize, like, how unimportant it is to, like, constantly be ingesting other people's information, like, their advice and, like, but it is kind of interesting, and I don't think abolishing, because if we just abolished all information, then what would be the point of creating things if we weren't trying to share information? Like, hey, the Dying Hope. Yeah, I'm single, but I'm not really single because I'm polyamorous. I look just like your friend's mom. There was a joke somewhere, but I couldn't find it. There had to have been a joke there. Like, there had to have been a joke. I couldn't find it fast enough. I could not. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Okay, let's just look at the... Yeah, there's an arena right now. I can just play... chess 960 right here. Okay. You'll never be a chess grandmaster? Well, neither will you. I didn't know that was a requirement. Trust me, that's a compliment. Wait, the grandmaster part or the friend mom's part? I mean, judging by some of the grandmasters out there, saying I'll never be one might be considered a compliment. Oh. You like my laugh? Well, that makes one of us. Bam! Let's go! I think the best thing was to trade the knights, but you didn't. Because you a loser. I'm just kidding. Maybe I'm not kidding. Maybe I was never kidding! Uh-oh. I lose the exchange. I'm still up a pawn. I guess I win the exchange. Because I did get a rook for a knight, and then I got a bishop for a rook, and I was up a pawn. I don't know. Either way, I guess I handled it. I guess there's no going back now. I gotta take care of this. I gotta take care of this nonsense. What opening to play? Well, this is chess 960, so I don't know what opening it is. This is a very specific starting position out of 960. And I don't know which one this one is, because they don't have names. Maybe they will someday, especially with AI. Like, do you think AI will just come up with openings for every single 960 different positions? And they're gonna name them? Oh no.
Amazing. Astonishing. Not bad.
Oh my goodness. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Investomania, welcome back. What open do I usually play? King's Pawn opening for white. And, it's hard to say for as black because there's multiple different responses depending on what white plays. I generally play either some combination of e5 or knight f6 as the first response, or depending on, sometimes c5, but I started playing e5 against e4. Depending on which move is first, like if it's e4, then I play e5. If it's d4, I play knight f6. If it's c4, I play e5. Six seconds left. There we go. There we go, I win. Let's go! Yay! I have a lot of different openings. Reverse technology? Make sure to send me an unrated game. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think you can do game analysis. Oh no, you can. Yeah, you can do review for Chess 960. Okay, let's go. E4, E5, you start to play better people, you need to learn more. No, I mean, E4, E5, people play all the way up to the world champion. Bobby Fischer, you know, played, you know, usually, I think he usually played E4 as white. I don't know, what did he usually play? I don't know. Like, you see people like Magnus Carlsen will play a variety of openings. But here's the thing, E4, E5, you can play all the way up to like Super Grandmaster. People still play E4, E5. Like, not everybody plays Sicilian. I love Sicilian, but it's just like, I started going back to basics. There's so much you can learn from basics. Like, you can go your whole entire life playing E4, E5. You're never going to run out of it. Like, you see people at the very top level playing E5. Playing Rui Lopez. Okay. Okay, what is this? The that's that one move. What's it called? The shredded cheese attack, or whatever it's called. The ham and cheese attack. Oh, I'm pretty sure, yeah, you go right here. Yeah, fried liver. It was like the mac and cheese attack, or like the sliced donuts attack. I don't actually know if that's the right response there. But I'm gonna do it. Yeah, goodbye to your king side, by the way. Not as bad as my king side. Say goodbye to your king side, bro. Yeah, the steak and eggs opening. The the bone marrow broth opening, whatever. And do you play with viewers? Yeah, we're playing viewers right now. Well, and this is just kind of GG. I just need to kind of double check which GG it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's really important how I continue this one. Yeah, right here. I'm pretty sure. If you go here, it's checkmate. If you go here... Oh, there you go. Some kind of cue? No, you can send me a challenge, rebeccaloran on chess.com. Send me an unrated challenge, whatever time control you want. No faster, no slower than 10 minutes. Yeah, let's look at the game review here. You did the fried liver attack. It's kind of a dangerous one, as you can see. I don't know if I'm not really good at punishing opening things, because I'm not like insanely good at openings. Yeah, I don't think that's the best option. I think it's over here. That's the option, right? Oh no. Oh, right. It's just blocking. Yeah, that's the one I should have seen. Zolti Delphin, is that you? Is that you, XN Asaso? Asaso? XN Asaso? Pazuzu! Futurama. Futurama. Ah! 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 They're all gonna laugh at you. Your favorite show? Yeah, it's a good one. The dog episode. Everyone loves the dog episode. It's the only one that makes you like really cry. I'm walking on sunshine. Yeah, Fry has like the highest emotional intelligence, but he has the lowest actual intelligence. He's like certifiably stupid. In fact, there's a whole episode about how him being stupid is actually like a whole plot point with the brains. Then the large one. Ah! Botez Gambit, let's go. Your rating is the devil? True. That's probably why. Hey, 666. You're Wolf? Oh, I'm sorry. 16-year-old Wolf? Oh my goodness. You actually have the highest emotional intellectual intelligence? Gigon, you are my hero. You are my hero, Gigon. Nobody is more hero than you. Oh, obviously, the rook is there. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? What am I thinking? The knight can't go that way. It's not an alfil. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? I mean, he might be in like Alaska or something. Isn't there like that Diablo guy or that Path of Exile guy that like lives in Alaska? He seems like a pretty chill dude. Yikes. Well, you could have just... Oh! Yeah, this is like not good. GG. Where did this go wrong? Well, my first mistake was entering the arena. Wait, no. Well, your first mistake was entering the arena. Wanna play? Oh, Iron Blood. Yeah.
god, it's actually free. Wait. But running around is not an easy thing to fight me. I'll try her out.
What was this?
Maybe I'll get better luck. Right. Fight me, little sap again. Turn round, please. Turn round. Proof of what I was a term wait. Yeah, she was in this guy. Did that she could tell you? Well, that was the one. Oh god, look at that goblin. Right, let's get this torch over with. And also the flame effects look.
She says like your first mistake is enter what. God damn it. Yeah, there's like a quote. It's supposed to be your first mistake was entering the arena. What are you guys talking about? We're talking about chess, we're talking about life, we're talking about pussy. Wait, what? Yeah, Warriors of Ravenloft.
Comments! Comments! Before. Comments!
I distinctly remember there was a part of the game where somebody said your first mistake was entering the arena. Was that Battle Arena Toshinden though? That's not fried liver. Welcome to Twitch. Welcome to T-Check's Twitch. I've been on Twitch for 6 years though. welcome though. Oh, Baylock. Spoken by the character Baylock. Wait, what? Oh, the orc fighter. Oh, he says it? I thought it was a woman that said it. Yeah, it was from the demo. Warriors of Ravenloft. That was a D&D game? Oh, Zenobia. PS1 Underground demo, Iron and Blood. I think generally. I can play a little bit interestingly here.
Professor House. Comments. Professor
was entering.
Oh, there it is.
Your first mistake was entering the arena.
For some reason, I thought it was a female character that said that. This is like Mandela effect.
Your first mistake was entering the arena. Your first mistake was entering the arena.
So I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew I wasn't crazy. How are you doing, Jess? Is your first game? Yeah, this is the first game I ever played in chess. I have never played chess before this moment. I mean, judging my gameplay, you probably could make that as a fair assessment, to be honest. Oh, what's up, Chex Twitch? How you doing? Are you a Chex Mix or are you a Chex Twitch? Oh, I think I have like herpes or something. Who's your favorite chess player? It's actually kind of a tough question. Yeah, there's actually like a interesting idea here. I'm pretty sure. For some reason I thought there was a way out of this. I don't know why. Fried liver. Fried liver is a very specific opening in the Joko piano. Yeah, I don't know why I did this. I don't know what's wrong with me. I must just... My life is over. I look so fit. It's because I work out, bro. Although I need to get in a little bit better shape though. I got a little bit of work to do. But it could be worse. I do squats every day. I think I did like 20 squats today, maybe 30, I don't know. And I do deep squats. And I walk and I try to do kettlebell, like kettlebell swings and Romanian deadlifts. I also do step-ups when I sometimes, instead of walking, I always do some kind of walking. Or I go on a bike rides. I'm 38 ions. Are you a Cylon? And I generally eat pretty healthy, like probiotics. Literally just had some kefir. I have like, I started taking ketamine. No, I mean, I started taking, what's it called? Don't cancel me. I started taking creatine. I take whey protein. I'm a woman. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious I'm a woman. My name's Rebecca and I got tits. And there's things you can't see on stream that are also aligned with that. Ayo! Ayo! You know, not that having tits or a vagina makes you a woman, but I mean, I happen to be a woman. who has tits and a vagina. What's the other ketamine except Islam? I mean, you can do you know, honey boo. I ain't gonna hate. Not particularly religious, you know. I do follow some things in like different religious traditions, but more spiritual related and philosophically related. And also as a storyteller, I am a fiction writer. I'm just a writer in general. And also there's a lot of storytelling elements of different biblical biblical texts. A lot of stuff in like Kabbalah, like in Hebrew tradition, like Jewish tradition, like Kabbalistic Hebrew mysticism or Jewish mysticism. There's also like Christian stuff. There's also Islamic stuff. As a storyteller, you'd be doing yourself a disservice not to pay attention to some of the like longest lasting stories in existence. There's a reason. They have emotional resonance and they have meaning attached to it that people carry on into their regular lives. Name all books. I don't know every... Yeah. Oh, you're not a real reader unless you can name every book ever written in every language. There's a lot of books and Kabbalistic texts that I have no idea exist, but I have done some general investigation of like of Kabbalic. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know if it's Kabbalah or Kabbalah. Of like Kabbalic, kind of like meanings. Like a lot of it is like redemption through transformation through actions. Like that's the main thing of like of like Hebrew mysticism. Is like you transform through your actions. You know, not through like prayer, not through like anything like that. It's like your actions matter. And so like even if you've done like, you know, terrible things in your life that we've all done, because we're all, you know, inherently flawed. And if you want to get religious about this, we're humans, we're not God. So like obviously we're going to make mistakes. And I think it's okay to recognize that it's possible for you to make mistakes. And it's what you do afterwards that matters. And I really like that part of like Hebrew mysticism and just in general like kind of Jewish teachings. Losing to that 853. I mean, I don't really care about my Blitz. Oh, we're not playing Blitz. Wait, why did you send... Oh, no, this is unrated. No, this is unrated. Yeah, only send me unrated challenges, by the way, if we're playing on stream. Slow Lane James. Your first mistake was entering the arena. For some reason I thought that was the female character that did that, like the Amazon. Rebecca is the goat. Possibly. Maybe not. Most likely not. Oh no. Here. Journey to 450 Elo. Are you trying to lose Elo? You're at 853. You want to get down to 450? Well, the worst thing you could do is play unrated games. You want to lose Elo. Just bear in mind that, like, every time you see me play on stream, I am not going to be playing at my best. If you really care about my chess journey, add, you know, like, go to my account on chess.com and, like, you know, give me a follow or whatever it is. And, or just, like, you know, bookmark my stats page and just pay attention to my rapid games, particularly the ones I'm playing off stream. If you really want to pay attention to my chess progress, that's really, like, if you have any kind of, like, advice for me, those are the best games to look at. So if you're going to give me advice and come back to my stream to, like, try to comment on my play, you might have to play a little bit more of the long game, because I'm not really going to make any significant progress on stream. And that's just how it is. I'm going to be extremely distracted. I'm not really going to be thinking, like, about the game as much. You know, I'm going to be chatting with you guys, so... You can play me on an unrated account. I mean, just challenge me to an unrated game. Well, I mean, that's another thing, Poop Droopy. That name. Oh my god. Poop Droopy, like, that's also, like, another thing, is, like... Oh! Yeah, that's... Playing on stream is, like, a really good way to get rid of that specific challenge of, like, getting nervous when you play in front of people. Like, it gets rid of that. Which, when you play alone and focused, that actually might come into play. When you're not so hyper-focused on, like, what other people think, that can, like, free up a lot. Yeah, I could have gotten a free pawn here. This is my mistake. Right here, I think I just take the knight here. Yeah. Then after the pawn takes, yeah, I just move up here. Or, oh, yeah, I just attack the bishop. Bishop can't escape, so I get to trade off knight for bishop regardless. Oh, actually, no, the bishop can't escape. Then I just... Yeah, so even if you tried to not trade... Oh, wait. Yeah, even if you went here... yeah. And I guess opening up the rook. Yeah, there's really not much I could do from that point, so this is all kind of over. I could have got some tempo back. Public speaking and even try running for office in order to up my chess game. Yeah, I mean, if that's like that's actually the best thing you can do to actually improve your chess, is to do everything except work on chess. That's probably the best thing you can do. You know, just don't study games, don't play games, don't like do tactics. Just run for office so you can get used to public speaking. That's probably the best thing you can do. Gonna be working all weekend. I have to light a car in 9 angles and make the lighting work for 8 car paints. Damn! You're like a photographer. Awesome. Well, maybe one day you'll be my photographer. You have a funny laugh? Yeah, a lot of people like my laugh. Sometimes I don't know if my laugh is real or not, but then at the same time, if you pretend long enough, it becomes real. It's actually something that I don't think people really fully understand. If you pretend to be something long enough, at what point are you actually the thing? Like, if you pretend to be rich by like dressing up rich and like posting Instagram stuff about being rich, at some point you become rich. Because like you get a bunch of followers and then like maybe you start getting like sponsorships. So it's like you're actually poor, but you put on nice clothes and you pretend to be pretend to have money. You get followers and and like you become rich. So like, you know, or, you know, you pretend to be a man your whole life. And if I chose not to transition, I would have forced myself to pretend to be a man. I mean, what man would I have been if I didn't, you know, become a woman? What the fuck is she talking about? Fake it till you make it. Yeah, I mean, here's honestly the real thing. At first, things were awkward when I started transitioning, when I started living as a woman. At first, things were kind of awkward. Because I didn't really know how to carry myself. Because I had never lived as a woman before. I knew I was a woman. I identified as a woman. But until I actually started committing to living as a woman, like in public, like things were a little bit awkward at first. But then over time, it's like you kind of just like become yourself. Like that's kind of what transitioning is. Like that's kind of what it is. Like you kind of just like, you're never really fully gonna sure. Is anybody really sure how to be a man or a woman? Like not just trans people. Like, does anybody know how to be a man when they're like 12? Like no, or like does anybody know how to be a woman when they're 12? And I'm not talking about transgender people. I'm just talking about like cisgender people, like everyday people. Like, you have to grow into it. You become a man or become a woman as you go through adolescence. And for some people, adolescence happens twice. I went through 2 puberties. So I think I like the second one much better. It's not my birthday. My birthday's in January. I'm still your favorite person this year? Oh, thank you, Infestamania. The lighting sucks. You can see like divine feminine and divine masculine. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it exists in everyone. Honestly, if we're gonna get back into the spiritual discussion, what really are we? Are we man? Are we woman? We're just in empty vessels, and like our eternal souls exist outside of this body. So honestly, anything that we define ourselves on during this lifetime, it's gonna be temporary. Like, we live a much bigger... We're playing the long game here. Yeah, just be yourself. Hey, what's up, Devin? What's up, Daniel? Yeah, like, divine feminine. Like, honestly, like, even when I was trying to be a man, like, it's just, like, there was, like, a lot of hints. Okay, like... What the fuck does be yourself even mean? It changed everything. I mean, everybody changes. Like the only constant part of life is change. And we constantly change our idea, our relationship to ourselves, our relationship to our body, relationship to our gender, relationship to like our relationships, you know, like our relationship to family, our relationship to money, our relationship to identity. Like every part of ourselves changes constantly. And you can see my pit stains. Hey, by the way, I'm gonna be moving out of here pretty soon. I can't say exactly when, but I'm gonna be moving out of here pretty soon, and I'm gonna start getting some things together in my life. Things are really broken right now. And it's really hard. Yeah, I don't know what. Like I got herpes or something. Yeah, I mean, every 7 years we become a whole brand new idiot. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Anyway, I think it's about time to go. We've been streaming for 3.5 hours, 3 hours and 39 minutes. My chess is completely destroyed. It's okay. I'll play some focused games earlier. Okay, I mean later. Yeah. Every day I try to play a really focused game off stream. A longer time control, nothing but the game itself, you know. But you know, I have some real progress happening in my life pretty soon, and I'm kind of just treating every day as just like a waiting room, right now. And it's a little unfortunate, and it's hard to believe me, I think, but I know that things are gonna significantly improve when it comes to like my mental health and how I am able to organize my thoughts and how I'm going to be able to approach my creative endeavors and my content creation and like all sorts of different things. And I'm going to be able to get back into chess clubs and chess tournaments. Things are just going to start skyrocketing. When's the next stream? Probably not until... I would say probably not until Monday. Yeah, I'm gonna be taking the weekend for myself. Do some drawing, do some chess games off stream. I always got like clips coming in on YouTube Shorts, you know, so make sure to give me a subscribe. You can see whenever I upload a new video. I already got a bunch scheduled from the previous stream, and I try to add some on top of those whenever I can, but whatever clips I can get from this stream. Honestly, like I said, I am like trying to mine whatever content I can from my live streams right now, but I have a bigger picture for who I am as a content creator, and you guys have no idea. I have not even gotten started yet. You guys are just seeing my passive, like me in the waiting room. You know, me just kind of like trying to do something on the back burner while I'm going through these changes in my life that I have shared about on stream, but there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that even I don't know about. So like, I'm going to be living in a healthier living situation pretty soon. I'm going to have my own autonomy. I'm going to have my own space. I'm going to have more space. So I'm not going to have like just this whole trailer. Like this trailer is cramped. I pretty much have an improvised stream setup. It's pretty janky. Like it's pretty messed up. Like I'm like streaming out of a closet. Okay, that needs to change. Okay, I cannot level up my content game if I'm living here. I cannot level up my life if I'm living here. I'm still doing a lot. Like I got my surgeries. I even got a job as a model. Even on my own, I made like I think about like $5,000 as a model. Like, come on. Yeah, well, I gotta leave too, Daniel, so, you know, good timing. See you guys.